It took 2 weeks, but Perfect Spiral is here with their first special edition episode on Monday, March 15th, because the legal tampering period has opened, and boy, do we have some stories for you. On this special edition podcast of Perfect Spiral, we're going to start with a Drew Brees send-off between John and myself. We're going to discuss the first ballot Hall of Famer to be, his career, what he meant to the city of New Orleans, and what he meant to the NFL world. And then after we talk about Drew, we are going to get into day one of the legal tampering period that started at 12 noon Eastern time, and what teams have won on day one and what teams have fallen behind the 8 ball. Make sure that your volume is up. Make sure you're in a room you could hear us, because Perfect Spiral is coming up next.
You play to win the game.
Touchdown! Can't wait.
Welcome, everybody, to Perfect Spiral. It's a Monday edition here. It is a special Monday. It's the Ides of March, March 15th, 2021. My name is Joseph Miglio. I am joined graciously by my co-host, John McCarthy.
What's up, Joe?
John, I am ready. We got 2 episodes coming up this week. We got a special edition today. We got breaking news right out of the gate.
Oh, boy.
As soon as we get here. And if nobody's been paying attention to the Patriots, you probably should start paying attention.
Yeah, you
to
got to
the
wake.
Patriots.
They're making sure everybody's awake right now.
Wake up, because they just signed Nelson, or expected to sign Nelson Aguilar to a contract. That is the news just dropping from Schefter and Rappaport, the 2 gods of this legal tampering period, free agency frenzy that we're going to have in a couple of days. Nelson Aguilar looks to be the new and latest addition to the Patriots frenzy, literal frenzy. John, give me your initial takes on Nelson Aguilar.
Nelson Aguilar really turned it up a notch in Vegas. Like, we were talking about a guy a couple of years ago that had major drop issues in Philly, and a guy that we didn't think almost couldn't be a starter in this league. Then he goes to Oakland. Oh, I always say Oakland.
I know you do.
God. He goes to Vegas, and he ratchets it up a little bit. And him and Derek Carr built a nice rapport last year. I mean, he was sleeper fantasy wide receiver. I had him starting at like certain weeks. I mean, it's a nice signing for them. It goes along with everything else that they've done.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great move. We're definitely going to get into them and everybody else who's been making deals today a little bit later on. But before we start on our Drew Brees send-off, we do want to just let everybody know, make sure you're following us on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram. Make sure that you are subscribed to us on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure that you give us those 5-star reviews on Apple. We also have a YouTube page. Please make sure you visit our YouTube page and listen to our podcasts on there and give us and feed us back some comments. We've loved having interactions with all of you guys so far on Twitter and TikTok. Please keep it coming. We love everything that we're hearing from you guys. We love interacting with with all different football fans from around the country. So with that, John, Drew Brees is gone.
Yeah,
just like that, he's gone.
It was only a matter of time. I think we knew after the the NFC divisional round that it was basically over.
Yeah, I mean, he said the other day that he's been treating these last 4 years like he wasn't coming back, and he kept coming back. But
yeah. And you saw the decline. I mean, this past year, the decline was like evident, more so than it's been in years past.
I mean, for me, Drew Brees is a guy that I really enjoyed watching when I was younger. He's the first player ever, legitimately, whose jersey I bought, and he actually stayed on the team for like the duration of his career. Mm-hmm. So now I have his jersey like forever, and it's going to be like a legitimate, like, he's on the Saints. Like, I had his jersey for years. And it's just like, he's just such a great guy. He's a great human being. What he did for that city of New Orleans
during Katrina,
100% during Katrina.
And Joe, this is a guy that, like, they didn't think would ever play football again at a high level. I mean, that shoulder injury was
Serious.
and serious enough where teams were Miami, I'm sorry, earmuffs, turned on him.
That deal was that shoulder was the downfall of Nick Saban in the NFL.
Yeah, and it's insane. I mean, they decided that they didn't think he could play anymore, and New Orleans stepped in and said, I think this guy has it still. And I mean, look at him now. He turned out to be the most he's gonna go down as the most accurate passer of all time.
100%.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers has the highest quarterback rating. Aaron Rodgers is pretty accurate, but Drew Brees, I mean, just the sheer volume in which he threw the football and how accurate he was with it, I don't think there'll ever be another player like that.
No, I think for Drew's size, everybody said he was small, and he wasn't a mobile quarterback. He wasn't somebody who ran out of the pocket. He was a pure pocket passer.
Yeah.
And we're seeing less and less of those these days. Only a couple are left. But what Drew did, I mean, he initially signed with the Saints on a 6-year, $60 million deal back in, I believe, what was it, 2004, 2005, something like that?
Yeah.
He was with the Saints for 14 years, so I think it was 2006. Mm-hmm. He's with the Saints for 14 years, and he's done nothing for the majority of his career there. He's done nothing but win. They won their Super Bowl in, I believe, 2008. I think it was 2008, 2009.
Was it 2000?
08 or 09. I can't remember which year it was, but it was 08 or 09. They beat the Colts in that Super Bowl. That Tracy Porter interception off of Peyton Manning, which sealed the deal for them. 31-17 final score. Don't know why that's in my head, but it is.
What? Random information.
I swear, I'm not even looking at anything. I just remembered that. But Drew, he, like you said, John, you said it perfectly. He's going to go down as the most accurate passer of all time. But more than that, he was a pros pro.
Yeah.
He was an absolute pros pro. He's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's liked by everyone.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who said a bad word about Drew Brees.
No. And it's crazy because when you really think about Drew Brees' career and you look at the numbers, he really got the short end of the stick a little bit. I mean, he should have won an MVP.
Never won an MVP.
He threw for 5,400 yards and almost 50 touchdowns, and Aaron Rodgers won the MVP the year he was supposed to win.
Disrespectful.
The year's not coming to mind right now. But not to mention also only a one-time All-Pro. I mean, come on. But listen, Drew has been, like you said, an absolute pleasure to watch. I mean, he goes down for me as one of the top 5 quarterbacks of all time.
Absolutely.
I
agree.
Think it's a question.
100%.
And it's kind of, you know what? I kind of look back. I mean, I know my Vikings spoiled the parade on him recently in the last couple of years. But you look back and just the teams he had, man, the last few years, one thing I hate about the NFL is when, there's a team that has a very clear window and they miss it.
Well, they won one. At least they won.
Yeah, at least he won one. He'll always go down with that one Super Bowl that a lot of guys don't have.
Some guys win 0. Dan Marino never won anything.
Or Jim Kelly going to 4 straight and going 0-4.
So, yeah, there's something to be said for winning at least one.
Yeah. And he, him and Sean Payton will go down as one of the greatest quarterback coaching duos of all time, too.
Absolutely. They were phenomenal together, and Drew, suffered. I don't know if you remember those turmoil years where they just had absolutely no defense whatsoever. It was like a 3-year stretch where they were under 500 every year. It was 6-10, 5-11, 7-9.
2011 was the year, by the way, that he missed out on the MVP.
2011. And then all of a sudden, the Saints started. They kind of like when Drew had his best years, statistically, those were the years they weren't really playing that well as a team.
Yeah, they were a middling team.
Right. It was only when the Saints started to really ramp up the defense and then really go more towards a ground game. When they got Ingram and Kamara is when they really started to get back into that ultra status. And they were a really trendy pick for the last 2 to 3 years to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And it just never worked out that way for them. Yeah. It just never worked out in their favor. But, I mean, for me, Drew Brees is always going to go down to somebody who I fully respect. He's going to be one of the few guys who I adore watching. I could always sit back and watch tapes of Drew Brees without having to change the channel whatsoever.
I'll miss the finger lick. You know how he'd always kind of lick his hands?
Oh, yeah.
It was a weird tick where he would always lick his hands, and it was always the same, ready. And I don't know, just something. It's a really weird thing to remember, But it's just like that's how I like see him, not only as one of the greatest of all time, but just remembering those like little weird, quirky things he had about him. But now he goes on to NBC Sports and he's gonna be a sportscaster. So
yeah, I mean, I guess from me, from John, from the football community, Drew Brees. Whether it's 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, if you ever choose to listen to this podcast, which I'm sure you won't, but just put it into
who knows? Maybe he will.
Just put it into the universe. I think generational thank you for everything that you brought to our, to our eyes, to the fans all across football, not just Saints fans, especially Saints fans actually, but to everyone in the football, just in the football world. Just thank you. You've been an absolute blessing to watch, and best of luck in your retirement years. So,
best of luck, Drew.
Drew Brees, come and gone. One of the, you know how we're getting old. I know we're getting old because now I'm seeing guys start their career and end it. Like I remember, like when I was younger, and like, oh, my dad would always say, oh, I know I'm old because I saw this guy start his career and end his career, and I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. Nope. Now I know what he's talking about.
No, yeah, it's
now
definitely
I know.
weird.
Now I know.
I think the only quarterback left standing from that era
is Brady. Yeah,
he's
the last one. Him and Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah, Roethlisberger. Ben is a shell of a person at this point, though. So.
But Tom's so many Super Bowls. Whatever. All right, so that is our tribute to Drew Brees. When we come back, we are going to discuss the first 6 hours that have taken place so far today within the legal tampering period for the NFL before free agency officially starts on Wednesday. We'll be right back. All right, guys. So we are back here for part number 2 of our special edition Monday podcast for Perfect Spiral. I am Joseph Miglio, and I have my co-host John McCarthy right across from me. John has some really interesting takes on some of the teams that have won the day, some of the teams that have fallen behind the 8 ball. So, John, let me get to you. I know you're itching to get into this. Please tell me, did Bill Belichick really get a higher stimulus check than everybody else this year?
Like I said on our Twitter, that 1,400 hits different.
What do you think of the Patriots' move so far today?
The Patriots, first of all, I love every move they made.
So let's review that really quick, right? So they signed, not in any particular order, they signed Matthew Judon, they signed Jonnu Smith. Smith got a 4-year, $50 million deal. Judon got 4 for $56. They signed Jalen Mills, I believe, 3 for $27 or $24.
It was somewhere in the mid-20s, yeah.
They just reported to sign Nelson Aguilar.
Kendrick Bourne,
they're interested in. They also signed the nose tackle from Miami as well from a 2-year, $16 million deal. Devin Godno or something like that. Yeah. I can't remember the exact name, but so a bundle of moves.
And they traded for Trent Brown.
Earlier, yes. So, John, let me ask you a question. What do you think is the best move that they made today?
I think the best move that they made was Matt Judon.
Okay.
I think that was a player that a lot of people were not expecting the Patriots to go after. And in history, I think that the idea that Belichick doesn't spend in free agency, I think that's a little... It doesn't always ring true because he did go after Gilmore and Revis, and he did. But
it's the first time he's really
really gone in. I mean, they've spent over the first 20 years, I believe, as far as guaranteed money that was doled out. I think I saw something that it was like $369 million, and today alone they've spent almost $170 million. So I mean, he knows. Like, listen, it's go time. Judon is a huge addition for that team. I mean, you got a team that they were pretty bad on defense last year.
John, I'm going to stop you really quick.
Oh, boy.
Really quick. And this is why I love this, because we have things coming in as we're talking. So Adam Schefter, 2 things. We got numbers for the Nelson Aguilar deal.
Okay.
We got 2 years, $26 million for Nelson Aguilar.
Ooh, a little high.
A little high, but I don't know if he's actually going to get $13 million a year. You know how these things are working these days. And then we also got from Schefter that the Rams are re-signing linebacker Leonard Floyd.
Oh, they got that done. Wow.
To a 4-year, $64 million deal. So a big payday for Leonard Floyd to keep him in L.A. He was being pursued by the Giants recently within the past 20 minutes. but the Rams re-signed the linebacker. Sorry, just wanted to throw that out there and get that information out to our fans.
Well, no, that makes the Judon deal even better.
Right, he cost less than cost less.
And I think I'd rather have Matt Judon. I mean,
over Leonard Floyd?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. I think Judon was incredibly productive in Baltimore.
Not as productive this season, but yes, he has.
But he has in the past. I think in New England, when you have a coach like Bill Belichick, defensive mind, I feel like he's going to maximize his talent there, you know? And I just, like, all the moves they made across the board, man, just like... Joe's giving me a face. What's going on now?
No, we also got numbers on the Yannick Ngakoue to the Raiders deal.
Oh, please tell me this.
Now, this is interesting because I think this is light. 2 for 26 for Jan.
Huh. I wasn't expecting that.
That's a very team-friendly deal.
Yeah, it is. 2 for 26.
2 for 26 tells me that he's very possible a 1-year and cut candidate for that team.
Yeah. I mean... It's fourth team in
less than a season.
Yeah, it's insane. So
what happens when you leave a stable franchise like the Jacksonville Jaguars.
2 for 26 is light.
2 for 26 is light. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. Anyway,
there's so much news. We keep getting sidetracked.
I know we do. We keep getting sidetracked. It's crazy. But so we got Matt Judon, Jonnu Smith, which
huge
gut punch. When they signed Jonnu Smith. Absolute gut punch. I really wanted Jonnu for my team.
I do have a slight problem with the Jonnu Smith deal, though.
Why? It's Jonnu Smith.
I think
Don't hate on Jonnu.
No. I like Jonnu Smith. I like him. I thought when I told you earlier in the day, I thought the Patriots would probably be players on him. But just Hunter Henry kind of screamed New England to me. Oh my God, Joe's just what's going on?
I got my sources all over the place. Ronald Darby in agreement with the Denver Broncos. So Ronald Darby, who was last year with the Washington football team, had a productive season last year, signs with the Denver Broncos per Adam Schefter.
Wow, we have instant reactions here on Perfect Spiral.
Keep going. Tell me why Jonnu Smith is not a good fit for the Patriots so I could smack you.
I'm not saying he's not a good fit, Joe. I'm saying that $32.5 million guaranteed.
Jonnu Smith, bro.
That's insane. Joe,
come on.
George Kittle at $30 million guaranteed. You're saying he's more valuable than George Kittle?
No, he's not more valuable than George Kittle. But Jonnu Smith is a top 5 tight end in this league. He's a top 5 tight end.
But Joe, that's not saying a lot to me.
Come on, who's better than Jonnu? Honestly,
Joe, how many good tight ends are there actually in the NFL?
All right, you got Kelsey.
Okay.
Kittle.
Okay.
Darren Waller.
Yes. And then what after that?
All right. You got some middling tight ends. You got Hunter Henry. You got
Zach Ertz.
Yeah, yo, listen, Jonnu is a tight end who is like he's got sure hands. He could take it out of the backfield. He's fast. He's brolic as hell. He's a good player, man. He's a real good player. And going to New England, that tight end set that Bill loves,
I know.
I think it's going to work well.
And the last thing on New England before we move on, I just want to say I think that this shows as much as we hate the move here.
Hey!
Oh, boy.
Sorry. I got a Jaguar update.
Who?
Jaguars are re-signing DeJuan Smoot. That's big for
yeah.
us. That's big for us. DeJuan Smoot was good. Sorry. I just wanted to get that out there. Continue.
Joe is so fucking jazzed right now.
I am. I love this.
So I think that what this signals for the Patriots, as much as, like I was saying, as much as we hate it, I think they're going to actually run it back with Cam. I think they're really trying to surround him with some sort of like low-level budget talent. I shouldn't really say it like that. Similar to what he had in Carolina as far as like a good tight end. He had Greg Olsen those years. I mean, he had Kelvin Benjamin for a period of time before he lived in McDonald's. And then, he had a couple of other weapons. DJ Moore, he got late. Remember Kelvin Benjamin? So
slowest wide receiver in human history.
And then he gained another like 80 pounds.
Oh my God, it was awful. Yo, but can I tell you?
Like Eddie Lacy?
Stop. The all fat club.
Oh my God.
All fat club.
Whole NFL fat decade team.
Nice. The AFC.
Jamarcus Russell's the quarterback. Remember when he showed up to?
Wow. Okay, John, here we go. This is a great segue into our next team.
Okay.
Rob Gronkowski back to the Bucks on a 1-year, $10 million deal.
Huh. Okay. $10 million for Gronk. Not
$10 million
bad.
for Gronk.
Probably his final season.
Ronald Darby got a 3-year, $30 million deal with $19.5 million guaranteed from Denver.
Wow.
So
Denver's dishing the bag.
yeah.
Huh.
So let's get to the Bucks really quick.
Yeah,
really
let's
let's get to the Bucks. I mean, they haven't done anything that's like crazy. They just re-signed everybody they had.
Yeah.
Which I think is a testament to Jason Light and Bruce Arians. They said they were going to try to keep everybody, and they kept pretty much everyone. The only guys that are left in the free agent market that they haven't kept are Fournette, Sue, and AB. That's
Yeah.
it. Everybody else that was a free agent has been re-signed now
I think
by
Suck
Tampa.
Up, I think, is still a free agent.
He's a
too.
kicker. He's
Yeah,
fine.
he's a kicker. But the Shaq Barrett deal, like we said last week, I think we discussed, 4 for 70 is what we said. And, I mean, what did he sign? 4 for 72. Good deal. $35 million guaranteed.
You nailed that on the head. I was over. I said gun to my head. I don't think he's re-signing, but if that's what he was going to sign, if that fact, I thought he was going to go for more. I really did.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he would have on the open market, but I think once Brady restructured that deal and they started using the voidable years thing, which a lot of people are still a little confused about, they were able to bring everybody back. I think they got Gronk back 1 year, $10 million, like you just said. They're going to bring back Sue. AB, I think, is a wash at this point.
Yeah,
and
I agree.
I think that Leonard Fournette is gone as well.
Yeah, I know.
I think that they do go after a guy like James White, though.
James White is linked to Tampa because of his Tom Brady connection.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. Him to see now. Then Jones would basically carry the ball, and White would pretty much catch the ball.
Basically,
Yeah.
and then they go almost into a full Brady style offense.
Exactly.
At that point. Yeah, which they tried to do, but Keyshawn Vaughn wasn't very good.
No. So we got our two of our if you want to call them winners so far in the first day of legal tampering period. We got the Bucks, we got the Pats. We also like to give a shout out to the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah, fantastic job by their GM there,
But again, the Bills didn't really sign anyone. All they did was just retain the talent they had,
which is huge.
especially in the trenches. They re-signed John Feliciano and they re-signed Darrell Williams to very team-friendly contracts. And then they re-signed Matt Milano as well, the linebacker. So the Bills really retaining
Micah
their
Hyde
talent.
as well.
Micah Hyde re-signed as well?
Yeah, Micah Hyde.
Or did he restructure?
I think he re-signed very early on in free agency.
Okay. Was there another team I wanted to say was winners or not?
No, I think that was it. I mean, Buffalo was just another like. There's really not much to get into with them. I mean, they like you said, they kept all their talent.
More interestingly enough, then, if that's the case, let's switch it over to the losers because I know that
There's a few.
There's a couple. Let's start because there's one I want to end with specifically that you have a take on. But first one I want to go to is Carolina
Okay.
because they signed Pat Elflein and Cam Irving from the Cowboys and the Jets respectively. And I don't really understand those two signings. Those two guys are not or shouldn't be every down lineman, especially for a team who's either going to get Deshaun Watson in a trade or is going to draft a new quarterback and start their rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
That doesn't do much for me. They did a good job by tagging Moton, and now they have him, and that's great. But Cam Irving doesn't do it for me. Pat Elflein, they gave Pat Elflein like 13, they gave him a big not a big contract, but they gave him a contract that nobody really thought he was going to get.
Yeah, sizable contract.
I mean, I just don't understand where they're going yet. Because it's they're not re-signing Curtis Samuel.
No, he's gone.
They got rid of Kawan Short already. You know, I just don't know what they're doing. I just don't know I have no clue. That Bridgewater has already displayed his displeasure with the comments from the owner who's saying he wants a stable franchise quarterback, essentially taking a shot at Teddy. So
Poor Teddy, man. Guy can't catch a break.
yeah, I mean, but it's not that they're going out and they're signing contracts. Because one thing I want to make sure everybody understands that's listening to this podcast right now is that when we are seeing these deals done and you're seeing the contract numbers, please read the contracts because no player this year is getting for our argument, we're saying, a 3-year, $30 million deal for Ronald Darby to Denver. He's not getting $10 million a year. That's not broken down that way. Mm-hmm. People need to understand that that's not the way things are going.
Yeah.
Like, you need to look at the contract. The cap hits are going to be relatively low for this season. And the reason that these guys are signing for relatively low contracts is because the cap's going to skyrocket again. And once the cap skyrockets, these guys are going to either opt out or they're going to get cut by their teams, and they're going to go back into the open market.
Yeah.
So, please, and I'm going to bring this up later when I talk about when we talk about our third, I'm going to say loser in quotations because I disagree with what you're going to say. But I just think Carolina, I don't mind that they're spending the money. I just think they're spending it on the wrong players.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at.
And Tepper is very he wants to make a splash, right? And he just first day of legal tampering, and he just nothing. I mean, of course it's not nothing. They sign players, but it's just you're seeing offensive linemen fly off the board, and it seems like almost every team in this league, aside from the Colts and the Browns, need an offensive lineman of some kind. And Carolina, I mean, if you really think you're gonna get a stable franchise quarterback with an offensive line like that, you're out of your fucking mind. Honestly, you're fucking crazy.
Crazy, bro. I know, I hear you. I'm sorry. So that's the Panthers. I know you want to get to the Ravens, so
The Ravens.
have at it.
I do not like that they lost both Judon and Yannick in free agency. I don't like that.
We didn't. We said Jan went to the Raiders. I'm sorry. Continue.
I'm not gonna say that they missed out on a wide receiver because the wide receiver market has barely been touched at this point. By the time this comes out, maybe it is. But at this point, the wide receiver market has not been touched. The Ravens they're a little confusing to me. The Orlando Brown thing is odd. You lose two of your best defensive players, and it's not. You can't look at it as I don't know how Ravens fans on Twitter are they're like, oh, we were expecting to lose them. How could you just sit back and expect to lose your two starting pass rushers?
Because you got to remember, they also have Derek Wolfe is a free agent. He was there last year. And right now, arguably, their best lineman is Calais Campbell, who's like 36.
Yeah, and that defense, they weren't as good last year as they were the year before. You got guys like Marcus Peters ain't getting any younger. So I'm not understanding what they're doing. And if they don't address the offensive side of the ball, boy, I don't know. I have no idea. Because they need a receiver of some kind, Joe. They really do. It's not.
Well, Kenny Galladay's yet to sign. Who else is yet to sign? Juju Smith's yet to sign. Curtis Samuel's yet to sign. Couple of receivers are off the board. But I think the wide receiver market's going to be slow.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of the receivers are going to wait to see where Kenny Galladay goes before they make their decisions. But yeah, I don't love what the Ravens have done so far. I really don't.
I don't love it either.
I don't know. And
Eric DeCosta's a good GM too.
And with the Browns signing John Johnson, which is a great move for them, they were pretty close last year in record-wise, talent-wise, the Ravens and the Browns. So, and they both made it to the AFC divisional round and both lost to both the Bills and the Chiefs, respectively. But, that's a competitive division.
Yeah.
Between them, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and now with Cincinnati getting Burrow back. I don't think they're there yet, but they're definitely going to be more competitive than they were without Burrow. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be really interesting. I think they really need to address that defensive line. I would not be shocked if they get in on Trey Hendrickson at some point during this process.
Yeah.
Or Carl Lawson or Carlos Dunlap.
I'm hearing Carl Lawson's market is huge.
As it should be. He's a very underrated player.
Like huge. And people are saying that his number is set at about $15 million a year. That's what I was hearing.
That's high. That's high.
I mean, Hendrickson's up there too.
Yeah.
So,
before we get busy here and let you get back to your day, John and I want to discuss one loser that John has that I severely disagree with.
Wow.
Go for it, John.
I want to talk about the New York Jets.
Of course you do.
They were sleeping today in the first 6 hours.
I'm just going to let you talk, and then I'm going to come at you afterwards.
They were sleeping almost the entire day, Joe. Joe Tooney's off the board. Lindsley's off the board.
Okay.
I mean, what is going on?
Okay. No,
Judon's off the board.
Right.
Hello. I mean, Joe Douglas, man, you gotta be quicker than this, dude. You gotta be quick. And still, I'll say it again. And still, we don't know what's happening with Sam Darnold. Like, what is going on? What is the decision to make here? There's enough of a body of work to see what this kid is. And granted, I was watching NFL Network today, and they were talking about how he's had X amount of starting tackles, X amount of starting guards, 17 different receivers, 3 different running backs. I get it. But you have the second pick in the draft.
I'm sorry, I have another one to break. It's the Patriots again.
Who?
Kendrick Bourne.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's official now.
3 years, $22.5 million.
All right.
I'm sorry. Continue.
I mean,
They're definitely out on Curtis Samuel now. There's no way
they have to be out on.
Yeah.
So back to the Jets. I have no idea what's going on. I say that about these teams because I'm actually befuddled by Joe Douglas right now at this point. I mean, they signed who was the linebacker they signed today? Was it Gerard Davis?
Gerard Davis.
They signed
from the
Gerard
Lions.
Davis. He wasn't a scheme fit in Detroit, so he kind of faded out. 2017 first round pick. Still some potential.
Some potential. He's been labeled as a bust, but he did not fit in the defense that was there last year.
Which is funny that Saleh decided he wanted him because when the 49ers played the Lions last year, they exposed him. But whatever. I mean, he's more of a scheme fit, I guess. And now they're listening to calls on C.J. Mosley. I mean, what a whiff. That guy was considered one of the best linebackers in football 3 years ago. I mean, it's a franchise in absolute fucking turmoil. And you don't know what's going to happen. Joe is seething right now. Joe, they are in fucking turmoil. They have so much money. They don't know what's going on with their quarterback. They missed out on all the offensive line help. You're not getting Trent Williams either. You're not. You're just fucking not. Like, he's not going. Joe is seething. He's chomping at the bit. Go.
Okay. Are you done?
I'm done. Go ahead.
All right. No. No. Listen. And I'm going to say this, okay? The Jets, much like my team, okay, have been shit upon shit upon shit. And then you get below that shit, and that's the shit that my team and the Jets are, okay? That's the shit that we are, that we've been, okay? So clearly, signing big-time free agents hasn't worked. C.J. Mosley didn't work. Le'Veon Bell didn't work. Like, these big-time guys, Trumaine Johnson didn't work. So this notion that going out and signing big-time free agents is going to fix your team is grade A bullshit. It's garbage. You need the right guys for the right to play for the right coach. They have a new regime. Robert Saleh, Matt LaFleur. Is it Matt LaFleur? Mike LaFleur.
Mike LaFleur.
Mike LaFleur. Matt LaFleur is the coach of the Packers.
His brother.
Mike LaFleur. Okay? Joe Douglas, I believe this is his first year as the first open season as the GM.
Yeah, because McCagnon signed all the guys last time around.
So Douglas is now going at it with Saleh and LaFleur. Give these guys. We're 7 hours in to the legal tampering period. Give them a chance. You got to understand something. No player like Joe Tooney, the Jets could have given Joe Tooney a 7-year, $150 million contract. When the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes come calling, he's going to go to Kansas City. Do you know why? Because the Chiefs have been to Super Bowl 2 years in a row. They've been to the AFC title game 3 years in a row. They're the best team in the league, in the AFC at least. They're the best team. Of course Joe Tooney's going to go to the goddamn Chiefs over the Jets. Anybody with a brain would. And the Jets would be stupid to offer him a 7-year deal worth like $150 million. It'd be stupid to do it. So they have to spend their money the right way. The Colts, for the last 3 years, have had some of the highest cap space in the NFL offseason. They have yet to go on a spending spree. And guess what? The Colts have been in the playoffs 3 out of the last 4 years. So clearly they're doing something right. Chris Ballard's doing something right. The Jaguars today signed Rudy Ford to a $2 million contract, who's a special team savant. They signed Jamal Agnew to a 3-year, $21 million deal that was loaded with incentives, who's a speedy kick returner. And every Jaguar fan lost their mind like they lost Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Calm the fuck down. I'm going off base, but I'm using the Jaguars as an example. The Jaguars were abysmal last year in special teams. They were fucking horrific. So Urban Meyer comes in on day one and says, you know what? I'm not going to go sign Kenny Golladay to a 6-year, $100 million deal when he has one fucking hip. No, I'm going to go and sign two guys who I know are going to make our team better in one facet of the league. Why are we not applaud just because you don't know who those guys are? I mean, it's a bad fucking move? No. Same thing goes for the Jets. Yes, they missed out on Joe Tooney. Yes, they missed out on Corey Linsley. Why can't they go sign Austin Blythe? Why can't they go sign David Andrews? Why can't they go sign Trey Hendrickson? Why can't they go sign a lower level guy like Russell Okung? What's the problem with that? The Jets need to prove they could win games with lower tier guys and a head coach who's competent. They had Adam Gase for the past 2 years. That's a liability on the franchise. The Jets have to rebuild themselves. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. Look at that. I can't believe I'm going to say this. The way the Browns, built their team, they didn't take. Don't you remember a couple years ago when they signed everyone? They're like, oh my God, the Browns are going to be great. They went fucking 6-10.
Yeah, but
it doesn't happen overnight. You have to make the right moves.
I know, but Joe,
you have to.
I know. And you are correct.
Thank you.
But
God.
This doesn't just start today with the Jets.
No, it doesn't. But it's a new head coach and a new offensive coordinator. And you have to... Ew.
Oh, boy.
Why are the Jaguars signing Philip Dorsett?
Ooh.
Ew. Why?
That doesn't make any sense.
I don't like that at all. I'm sorry. Continue what you were going to say.
I just think they got to figure out a couple. You have the second pick in the draft. The clock's on them. They have a lot to figure out. I just saw Rich Cimini said don't count them out of the edge rusher market yet. So, I guess maybe Trey Hendrickson is their target. I don't know, man. I don't know. I get what you're saying. I do. But I think that Joe Douglas, it's boom or bust for him. I know it's his first year, but it's boom or bust, man. It really is.
I think you got to give these guys. I think you got to give these teams that have a lot of money and don't have.
The New York market's not going to give him time, Joe.
Well, you know what? Well, then he has to tune it out. And I will say this. I agree with you on the Donald front. I don't think they should keep him.
No,
I don't. You're going to start over, then start over with a new quarterback.
Yep. Whether that quarterback at 2, which I don't want to. We'll get into that at a later date. Whether that's a scheme fit or not, they got to figure that out. I don't know. But Darnold, man, the clock's ticking. They have a soft deadline of the draft.
I know. They
like the Texans,
have to make a
soft
decision
deadline.
soon. They do.
So,
but all right. But we did it.
First special edition,
Monday edition of Perfect Spiral. And we got pretty heated at the end.
Yeah, a little eccentric.
A little heated at the end. But
we'll be back on.
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Recording on Wednesday, should be up by Thursday. For everybody here, make sure you give it a listen. This was a little bit of a shorter podcast, but we wanted to make sure it's going to be like this for a couple of weeks because things are going to just start happening and we're going to have to get on the ball. We don't want to fall behind with anything.
Yeah. So you might, we not saying we'll always have a special edition pod, but you never know.
Yeah. You don't know when we're going. We're unpredictable.
Yeah. But you know what? If you want some instant reactions, like we said, TikTok at PSP Pod. We had a blast today with TikTok.
John had a blast today.
I had an absolute fucking blast. I posted 7 TikToks today.
So make sure that you take a listen to this pod. Make sure you're following us on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok.
It's at Perfect Spiral Pod on TikTok. Sorry. At PSP Pod is our Twitter.
Excellent job right there. Great content.
Yes.
And make sure that you're subscribing to all of our platforms. Listen to the podcast, Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, anywhere you get your podcast. You can listen to it directly from our Buzzsprout site as well.
Yeah. YouTube as well.
So make sure that you get it out all there. We will be back at it Wednesday when teams are legally allowed to sign these men to offer sheets. So we will be back at it Wednesday night, recording around 6 p.m. Pod should be up by no later than Thursday morning. So make sure you are on and listening and looking at our Twitter and all of our TikToks and YouTube, as John said, to get the latest information going around the football world. That's going to do it for John McCarthy and Joe Miglio. That's me. We will see you folks on Wednesday evening. Let the frenzy begin. PSP out.
Take care, everybody.